Hi everyone, welcome back to God's Whispers, a place where we take the time to pause and reflect on the word of the Lord. Today I'm going to be speaking about the Gospel according to Luke, chapter 16, verses 1 through 13. And it's a pretty puzzling parable in my mind. At first it sounds like Jesus is praising dishonesty, but after some research, I think I was able to figure it out. Let's listen. Jesus said to his disciples, "A rich man had a steward who was reported to him for squandering his property. He summoned him and said, 'What is this I hear about you? Prepare a full account of your stewardship, because you can no longer be my steward.' The steward said to himself, 'What shall I do, now that my master is taking the position of my steward away from me? I am not strong enough to dig, and I am ashamed to beg. I know what I shall do, so that when I am removed from the stewardship, they may welcome me into their homes.' He called in his master's debtors one by one. To the first he said, 'How much do you owe my master?' He replied, 100 measures of olive oil.' He said to him, 'Here is your promissory note. Sit down and quickly write one for 50. Then to another the steward said, 'And you, how much do you owe?' He replied, 100 cores of wheat. The steward said to him, 'Here is your promissory note. Write one for 80. And the master commended that dishonest steward for acting prudently. For the children of this world are more prudent in dealing with their own generation than are the children of light. I tell you, make friends for yourselves with dishonest wealth, so that when it fails, you will be welcomed into eternal dwellings. The person who is trustworthy in very small matters is also trustworthy in great ones, and the person who is dishonest in very small matters is also dishonest in great ones. If therefore you are not trustworthy with dishonest wealth, who will trust you with true wealth? If you are not trustworthy with what belongs to another, who will give you what is yours? No servant can serve two masters. He will either hate one and love the other, or be devoted to one and despise the other. You cannot serve both God and mammon." In the ancient world, wealthy landowners often hired managers or stewards to oversee their estates. These managers handled debts, rent, daily transactions. Sometimes they'd inflate the amount owed to make a profit for themselves. In this parable, the manager learns he's about to be fired. Desperate, he reduces people's debts, essentially cutting down his own markup. The debtors are relieved, his master gets honored for generosity, and the manager secures goodwill for himself. Jesus isn't saying that dishonesty is good. Instead, he's pointing out the man's shrewdness, his ability to act decisively for his future. And then Jesus contrasts it. If only the children of the light were as shrewd in preparing for eternity as the children of the world are in looking out for themselves. The ending kind of drives it home. No one can serve two masters. You can't serve God and money. In the Roman world, wealth meant status and power. But Jesus is referring to true wealth of faithfulness, generosity, and being ready for God's kingdom. In our world today, money sometimes feels like the master. Career, success, everything is measured by it, the size of your home. But Jesus reminds us that wealth is temporary and dangerous when it becomes something that you would idle. The call is not to ignore money, obviously, but to use it wisely, to invest in what lasts: relationships, compassion, justice, generosity, and just being with God. So just like the manager looked ahead to his future, Jesus asks us to look ahead, not to retirement, but for eternity. So journal prompts that would match with this passage are: where in my life am I tempted to let money or possessions take control over my decisions? How can I be more shrewd in investing my time and talents for God's kingdom? And what does serving God over money look like in my everyday life? And then finally, if my spending habits reflected the way I wanted to be, would anything change? I hope this message resonated with you, and if you feel like a friend could use some encouragement, please feel free to pass it along. And don't forget to subscribe so you can continue to hear God's whispers.